Have you ever wondered what could cause 9 experienced hikers to mysteriously perish in the freezing mountains of Russia? What could make people, who knew the outdoors better than anyone, abandon their tents, half-dressed, in a panic? The Dyatlov Pass incident is one of those eerie tales that sends chills down your spine, leaving us with more questions than answers. As we unravel the layers of this bizarre and haunting mystery, you'll begin to question the boundaries between reality and the unknown. Our story begins in the frigid winter of February 1959. A group of 9 experienced hikers, most of them students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, set off on an expedition that would forever be shrouded in mystery. The group was led by Igor Dyatlov, an experienced outdoorsman, and the team was well prepared for the rigors of the harsh Russian wilderness. Their destination, the Ural Mountains, specifically a remote region near Kholat-Syakhl, a name that translates to Dead Mountain. At first glance, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. These hikers had done similar expeditions before. They had the training, the equipment, and the resolve. Temperatures in the region often dipped below -30 degrees Celsius, but they were ready, or so they thought. As the group embarked on their journey, spirits were high. They documented their progress with photographs and journals, capturing their excitement and camaraderie. But the further they ventured into the wilderness, the more things began to take a strange and unsettling turn. Heavy snowfall and fierce winds forced the group to deviate from their planned route, pushing them toward the slopes of Kholat-Syakhl, the so-called Dead Mountain. On February 1st, they set up camp on an exposed slope, deciding to stay there for the night rather than retreat to the forested area below for better cover. Why they chose this precarious spot is still debated today, but it would soon become clear that this decision marked the beginning of the end for them. As darkness fell and the temperature plummeted, an eerie atmosphere seemed to settle over the campsite. Some of the hikers reportedly felt uneasy, as if they were being watched. Others claimed to hear strange noises, sounds that didn't seem to belong in the natural world. Whether these sensations were real or a product of exhaustion and cold-induced paranoia, we may never know. But what happened next remains one of the most bizarre aspects of the Dyatlov Pass incident. Fast forward to February 26, 1959. After weeks of no contact from the hikers, a search and rescue team was finally sent to the area. What they found would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The group's tent was discovered first, and it was in a state that defied explanation. It had been slashed open from the inside, as if the hikers had desperately tried to escape something or someone. But what could have caused such panic? There was no sign of an avalanche, no tracks of other people in the area, and the hikers' belongings were left behind. The footprints leading away from the tent indicated that the hikers had fled barefoot or in socks, despite the freezing conditions. Further investigation revealed the scattered bodies of the hikers, some partially buried in the snow. The first 2 were found under a large cedar tree, wearing only their underwear with signs that they had tried to climb the tree, possibly in an attempt to escape from something. Others were found nearby, some with severe, almost inexplicable injuries. One hiker had a fractured skull, while another had broken ribs, yet there were no external wounds to suggest how such injuries had occurred. Even more disturbing, one of the hikers was missing their tongue, eyes, and part of their lips. The injuries seemed too severe to have been caused by mere exposure to the elements. In the aftermath, a flood of theories attempted to explain what had happened. The most logical explanation, at least on the surface, was that an avalanche had struck the group's tent, prompting them to flee in panic. But this theory didn't quite fit. The slope where they had camped wasn't steep enough to trigger an avalanche, and the condition of the tent and the bodies didn't align with what one would expect from such an event. Some suggested that the group had stumbled upon secret military tests, possibly involving high-frequency weapons or parachute mines. This theory gained traction due to reports of strange orange lights in the sky around the time of the incident, which some claimed were Soviet military aircraft or experimental weapons. Could the hikers have been unfortunate witnesses to something they weren't supposed to see? Were they silenced by the government, leaving behind a trail of bizarre evidence that could be neither explained nor easily dismissed? Others speculated that the group had been attacked by a yeti or some unknown predator. The missing eyes and tongue added fuel to this theory, as did the bizarre injuries. However, no tracks of any animal were found near the campsite, and the likelihood of a large predator being in the area was slim. Perhaps the most outlandish, yet persistent theory was that the hikers had encountered extraterrestrial forces. The strange lights in the sky, the unnatural injuries, and the eerie atmosphere of the mountains all seem to point towards something beyond our understanding. Could the Dyatlov group have come face to face with beings from another world? If so, what could have led to such a violent and deadly encounter? Over the years, the Dyatlov Pass incident has been the subject of numerous investigations, both official and unofficial. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case, conducting a fresh investigation into what happened. They ruled out foul play and settled on a new theory. A rare form of avalanche, called a slab avalanche, may have been responsible. This type of avalanche can occur on relatively flat terrain, and the conditions at the campsite might have made it possible for snow to build up and suddenly shift, collapsing the tent and causing panic. According to this theory, the hikers, startled by the sudden collapse of their shelter, slashed their way out of the tent and fled into the night, disoriented and ill-prepared for the cold. In their attempt to seek shelter, some succumbed to hypothermia, while others suffered fatal injuries in falls or from the freezing conditions. But despite this conclusion, many experts and armchair investigators remain unconvinced. The slab avalanche theory doesn't fully explain the unusual injuries, the missing body parts, or the strange lights in the sky. And so, the mystery endures. In the decades since the incident, the Dyatlov Pass has become a symbol of the unknown. The case has inspired countless books, documentaries, and conspiracy theories. Each new piece of evidence only deepens the mystery, inviting us to speculate on what really happened on that fateful night in 1959. The Dyatlov Pass incident is a chilling reminder of how little we truly know about the world around us. Despite our scientific advances, there are still forces, natural or otherwise, that elude our understanding. Whether it was an avalanche, a military experiment, or something far more sinister, the fate of the 9 hikers remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. And perhaps that's why the Dyatlov Pass incident continues to captivate us. It reminds us that the wilderness is not just a place of beauty and adventure, but also of danger, mystery, and the unknown.